So here we start to study Chinese and Korean art before 1279. And at this point, I want to say, do you remember when we started our module on South Asian art before 1200? At that point, I showed you the first page, and I explained that the textbook authors like to launch each chapter with a close look at a single artwork, and they choose one that ties together important conceptual threads. So they had started with Ashoka's pillars, and you might remember in the video I said, look, these are really important, they're very interesting, but I think it's not the best way to begin the chapter because it's a little bit overwhelming for you. So I said, skip ahead for now and come back to it. Well, that is not true for our first chapter on Chinese and Korean art. Do not skip ahead. The opposite. Really take your time here, because what the authors have chosen is the unforgettable terracotta army of soldiers from the tomb of the Qin Dynasty Emperor Shi Huangdi. It's a brilliant choice on so many levels. For one, it's just one of the most exciting discoveries in archaeology. It's comparable to the tombs of the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun. So here's the magic of Google giving you a kind of a glimpse from different photographic vantage points of the magic and the wonder of that tomb. Well, this tomb is on the same level of being an extraordinary window into a vanished world that is so important for the unfolding history of China. And the tomb is so famous that, if you go out to eat at P.F. Chang's, you will be seeing replicas of these soldiers and the horses that accompanied the tomb. From a historical standpoint, the Qin dynasty was a pivot. So in addition to kind of its artistic and archaeological significance, this tomb is important because it is marking the point in China's political development when it becomes unified under an imperial system. And the Qin dynasty, Qin, that root word Qin is the root of the word China. So the authors also do a skillful job for you just below their introduction to the tomb soldiers themselves in explaining the kind of technical processes that will lead Chinese artists to excel in so many media. This is one of the distinguishing features of China as a kind of a majestic world culture. Its achievements in ceramics, in metalwork, in jade working, incredible development of different technologies and techniques that lead to numerous artistic achievements in many different media. Take note also, as you read here in this paragraph, of the fact that Chinese culture synthesizes its own Confucianism and Taoism, not mentioned here, but we will study it, both so important to Chinese thought, with Buddhism that comes from South Asia. And just as China assimilates Buddhism into its own rich cultural matrix, China also exerted tremendous influence outward, especially into East Asia, onto Korea and Japan. So the story of China will be intertwined with the story of those two cultural regions.